to set it for public this week because the last couple of weeks I had to stop it last week because it was set on private. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, man. Nobody can get in.
All right, there we go. So we're live. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, I'm Ray. I'm sitting here with Matt. Mike could not join us this week. However, we are being joined by a really good friend of ours, comedian Tommy Sinbazo.
Hey, fuck Mike. Yay.
How you doing, man? How was your New Year and your Christmas and all that fun stuff?
It was pretty good. We did, we closed out Magooby's, the New Year at Magooby's Joke House, where my buddy Eric Woodworth and I, we had 2 days to prepare, wrote a song, we heckled the crowd. It was such a magical night. It's so worth the quarantine I now have to do because of being around all those people.
And, of course, we're here live with our special guest this week, former NFL star Vinston Painter. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Feeling great. How you guys?
We're good, man. Now, you were in the NFL, and, you played for the Broncos, Browns, Giants, Dolphins. You were with the Redskins, or should we say the football team, the Cardinals, and – it said on Wikipedia, and we were talking beforehand, that you signed for the Tiger Cats in the CFL, but you never actually played for them. How was it playing for the NFL? How was it? You were an offensive tackle in the NFL.
Yeah.
How was it, going out there and just roughing guys up every single day?
Well, it's a dream. It was the dream job, man. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I always had, the image in my head that I wanted to be a professional athlete. Started off with basketball. Basketball was my first love. And you know how when you were in elementary school, middle school, they ask you a question on the paper, what do you want to be when you grow up? Yeah. I always put pro athlete, NBA player. My mom kind of low-key hated that. She's like, no, I feel like doctor, fireman, police, something, attainable. But to me, that was always attainable. That was always my dream. So, I mean, when I actually got drafted and all that other good stuff and, got a scholarship to college, it was a dream come true, man. I loved every bit of it. And it was the best experience of a lifetime. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Now, being in the NFL, as we know, you guys go through a lot of rigorous training. Everybody who watches knows that I did pro wrestling for a living. I'm still a trainer at one of the local schools. Now, the rigorous training you guys went through, was there anything that you particularly hated doing every day when you went through the whole warm-ups or when you went to the camps that just bothered the shit out of you?
Yeah. Well, initially, as a lineman, it's running. 100%. It used to be running, but as I got into college and got in way better shape, it wasn't as bad. But initially, those sprints and those gases were my worst enemy.
Yeah. If you're like, the part I hated the most was the football. Man, I hate football.
What are you doing for this? Oh, man.
They offered me so much money to do this thing I hate to do.
I just said yes. Without a second thought.
With football and baseball, everything like that, there's been stories, you hear it all the time, that with pro wrestling, they'll sit there and they'll walk in and someone the size of the Ultimate Warrior sitting there. And they're like, hey, man, you ever think about being a pro wrestler? It's like, that's weird. Like, you don't have an NFL scout, walk into a bar and go, hey, man, this dude's 350 pounds. Hey, you want to, tackle a bunch of small quarterback-looking guys there? Aside from Ben. Ben's a big dude. Ben Roethlisberger is a jacked dude.
That is a big quarterback.
But most of the time, they're smaller quarterbacks. And a lot of times, when those guys get hit, you're just going, oh, shit.
You feel pretty bad for them. Until you see them get up and brush it off. When I was down there in Miami, man, I saw Tannehill get hit so hard one time by Muhammad Wilkerson. We were watching film, but he got up and kept playing, man. He took it. I earned a lot of respect for that guy after that one, man.
Now, is there anybody that you, while you were playing, is there anybody that you tackled, you hit, and you felt proud of yourself afterwards? You were just kind of like, yeah, man, this dude was getting on my goddamn nerves, or, and a lot of times, you guys will play and there'll be friends on separate sides and you'll get up and you'll just kind of be like, hey, whatever to each other, was there anybody that you didn't like that you were just kind of like, F this guy?
Oh, the fights that I did get in camp was usually with dudes that we were cool, but it was just in the heat of the moment type of thing. But I'd probably say the proud moment was when I got that pancake on Linval Joseph. That was that felt good. When I did that, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm really out here.
And of course, also keep in mind, we are on Facebook Live. So for those of you tuning in live, be sure to send questions for Vinston or any of us. We will interact live on Facebook, and for everybody listening at home on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you find your podcast. Now, Vinston, you also went to Virginia Tech.
Yes, sir.
How was that? How was playing for Virginia Tech? You know, everybody knows that Virginia Tech, very, very decorated football team over there. You know, how was that, you know, going with that and just the college life in general, and then being a part of the football team?
We know what the college life is like, man. Come on, listen.
Bible studies.
Yeah, but you know, study.
Yeah.
But
Anatomy.
Blacksburg was awesome, man. I mean, the whole time I was there, the feeling that I got from my recruiting trip was the feeling that I had all 4.5, 5 years I was there. It's just a family atmosphere, man. The town just brings you in and just, you know, supports you, and they love you from day one. And the coaches, staff, teammates, and everything, everybody's cool, man. And it was a change up for me because I'm from Norfolk, Virginia, which is more of like city type setting. You know, we got a lot of water in the area, heavy military, you know, city or whatever. Then you go to Blacksburg in the mountains, in a small town. It's like college campus, town, woods, and mountains. So I mean, it took some adjusting to get used to being up there out in the wilderness. But you know, I mean, being in Virginia, you kind of see some of it. I love fishing, so you know, I made the most out of it while I was up there. But it was great, man. Coach Beamer was great. He pushed us to be great players and great men at the same time. So I mean, it's the best 5 years of my life.
Now, what high school so how long have you been playing football? You said, because you said the basketball was like your passion, but when did you start playing football? Were you like in Pop Warner leagues and worked your way up as a kid?
So it's crazy how it worked out, actually. So when I was younger, I tried Pop Warner, but I was too big for my age group. So I had to play the older kids. But then my mom was like, nah, I don't want you to get banged up and hurt all up and got, you know, hospital bills or whatever. So when I was younger, I played baseball, basketball, I did wrestling, I did track, I did all that stuff. And I didn't play football until my freshman year of high school. So JV was my first time I could step on a football field, and I sucked. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I was boo-boo kitty, trash. You guys, any of my old teammates from high school, they were like, yeah, ninth grade, we didn't think he was gonna do anything. But then I turned around, hit the weight room, worked hard, man, and you know, made it happen.
So originally, were you a lot smaller, and then you hit the weight room and jacked up because you're a big boy?
So going into high school, I was 6'2", 6'3", 260. Going into high school, and then I got with my coach there, William Robertson, called him Coach Stone, and he was real heavy in the weight room, like jacked up dude. And I say my freshman year, I actually transferred out of high school, went to my mom's school in Suffolk for a semester. Hated it. Obviously, everybody was snitching my mom at every little thing I did. If I even dozed off in class, she heard about it. So that didn't last long. But it was a great experience. I went back to Maury, and then once I went back, I just got with my coach. We would do you know, workouts. I probably shouldn't say this because this is gonna be a bad influence on some kids, but I would skip class sometimes to go to the gym and do workouts.
Well, you know, kids, it all works out.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm in the gym.
Did you get a scholarship out of high school?
What the hell happened?
You know what I'm saying? Well, I left high school. I was 315, 6'4", 315. And I had scholarship offers from the whole SEC, the whole ACC, the whole Big Ten.
Nice. And then obviously at Virginia Tech, you must impress the hell out of a scout, and boom, then you were in, right?
Crazy how that worked out too. So I actually met our offensive coordinator while I was there, Brian Steinspring. I met him my sophomore year of high school, going to my first regional combine in Chesapeake. I just hopped off the bus and he was just standing there. He looked at me like, man, who are you? Like, what's your name? Like, what grade you in? I said, 10th grade, just finished 9th grade. He said, man, just know. And he asked my name. And he said, just know, when you get your junior year, you have an offer from Virginia Tech waiting for you. So, and then we went on with the combine and everything else. But, yeah, man.
You're so big, they're like, who's this adult that's in our class? Like,
Exactly. It was like, how old are you? I'm like 15. You're 23. You're lying.
You're not 15.
You're 23. Fortunately for me, my beard didn't grow until I was 23. So I'm good.
Oh man. And a lot of times that makes or breaks it. But look at it like this: when you were in high school, it's the kind of thing you wanted to go get some beer. You know, like me, I never.
Yeah.
Here's a fun story. We used to always drink before we were 21. We would drink at parties.
Of course, yeah.
And, I would let my facial hair and there was this one liquor store in Dundalk called Hollowbird Liquors. We would go there all the time. It was owned by an old Chinese guy named Cho. And we were like, we're going to put Cho's kids through college. We always went there. Every party we had, we went there. He would serve us. Finally, a few years later, he sat there. We were about 23 at the time. He sat there, and I guess he got in trouble by the police. They probably came in, said, look, you need to check IDs. So he's like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I need to check your IDs. So he looks at the IDs, and he sits there, and he looks at the ID for like 2-3 minutes, looks at it, looks at us, oh, Cho make big mistake all these years. We were his customer for about 6 years before that, and he's like, oh, no.
Too little, too late by the time you realize it, man. Just bury your D down the side. Never bring it up again.
I caught it the other day when I went to the liquor store, and because I recently shaved my beard because my beard used to be down about here, so about my chest. So I go in the liquor store, and and they're like, "Can I see your ID?" I'm like. I'm like, I'm a man, damn it.
What you mean? I'm a grown ass man. I always tell them I take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
And Vince,
it's like when you get carded. Now, if I get carded, I'm like, oh, I must look very young.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Oh, thank you.
Not with my mom, and like they card me, and I feel good, and then they card her, and she's clearly in her late 60s, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay.
It's just protocol.
All right, this is a big joke to you guys. I see it.
You're like, oh, I feel very young. They're like, we're sorry, sir, but we need to do this with every customer.
Yeah, please.
Okay, cool. My mistake.
And Vinston, from being in college to the NFL, now partying and all that, going out having fun after the games, how much was that? Was there a difference with that compared from college to the NFL? And we know when you're in college, everybody's partying all the time. NFL, you have a good time afterwards. I mean, hell, the Ravens can't even get it together and not party, not get COVID right now. So, so the thing is what was the difference with that? Do you think that it was more in college? Because I feel like with college that there's more eyes on you because, you want to get picked up by the NFL, but also, it's the kind of thing you're like, hey, I'm in college. I'm never going to be in college again.
Yeah.
So what was the difference with those?
I don't know. It's kind of, I guess, the same thing because as a pro athlete, everyone's suspecting, this is not a pro athlete should be there.
There are children watching.
It's only certain times that they say that. I mean, in college, obviously, so partying is like there are some eyes on you, but there's only eyes on you when you're in trouble. As long as you can party and stay out of the news, you're fine. But in the league, there's a huge difference. There's a lot more eyes, and obviously you have a little bit more money in your pocket, so you can kind of just buy more. You can buy drinks and be like, you're not worried about it. In college, you're kind of like, hold on, I got $10 so I can get 2 shots. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, but it's definitely a different scale. I mean, it's certain times in college is the same because obviously bowl week, you go to somewhere that you've never been, like Miami or Arizona, Cali, wherever. So you kind of get a little taste of it, but and you get in places for free sometimes if you're winning. I
had $100 on this game. You guys need to pay to cover it.
Yeah,
you know
all of a sudden there's a cover charge for you to get in a Red Lobster.
Exactly. It's like, who'd y'all lose to? Y'all lost to UVA. Oh no.
It ain't unlimited shrimp for you. Shrimp Fest is over.
No lobster biscuits for you. They just pull the biscuits away.
Matter of fact, we just closed. Matter of fact, right when y'all got here, we closed.
Yeah.
But in the league, it's definitely a different level. You kind of got to keep it, in line though, so you can still get your job done and keep that in moderation, just like anything else. But it's definitely a different level when you get there.
Now, do you feel with college, besides the NFL? Now, the NFL, obviously, you're on more of a national level. But with college, everybody knows you in college. Do you feel that you had just as much notoriety if you went out in public when you played college ball compared to the NFL?
It's more in the geography of the school. So like Virginia Tech, you're in Virginia, Carolina, it's like, all right, yeah, that kind of happens there. Obviously growing up in Virginia, being a native of Virginia, that also helps as well. But not necessarily nationally, not unless you like I said, again, bowl week, which obviously you're wearing team gear and there's team flags all over the place, like Virginia Tech versus Michigan or versus Bama or whatever. So, you wear the team gear and everybody's kind of like, oh yeah, you guys are with the team. that's kind of different and with the league. And obviously, offensive lineman, we only give us so much face time, and we don't really get stats and stuff, so we're kind of not that noticeable. But Virginia Tech, they know everybody on the roster. Like I said, it's a small town. But in the league, I mean, you're walking around with, grown man NFL muscles. Everybody generally just pieces together, especially as an offensive lineman. You're walking around 315, between 315 and 340. So everybody kind of like, yeah, you're on the team. So it's more so just as a lineman, your size gives it away before your face. Yeah, if you're one of those guys like Von Miller and, Ben Roethlisberger and those guys, obviously they got the face card.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation where someone tried to try you in public? Like pretty much they knew you were an NFL star or, a college football star, and they had a little too much to drink. And they're like, oh, okay, offensive tackle, huh? Oh, yeah, you're not going to be able to take me down. And then you're just kind of like, oh, man, I'm going to have to put hands on this 68-year-old man in a bar because he's spoken me.
Yeah. Like 5'2", he's 5'2", 98 pounds. You motherfucker.
That fucking short man syndrome.
5'2", 60 years old. My pride is when you let me do that. I'm like, man, I would destroy you, dude.
He'll just skate bag your nutsack like,
And that's the thing, like let's say you go in there and you're a part of the Broncos. Yeah. He's just sitting there, he's like, I know you. You're that one Steelers player. I put $100 on you. You cost me my fantasy. You're like, no, man, that's not me. Look, I'm with the Broncos. No, I don't want to hear it, all right? Look, I want my $100 back. It's kind of like people get so ridiculous. You're just kind of like, so wait a minute. So you mean to tell me you want me to give you the $100 you lost back off the game? Why, yes, that's what I want.
For not betting on me.
Right. In the league, you might want to reel that in, but in college, yeah, there were a few times where you kind of gotta, hold it down. But it's college, so it's like it's a lot less likely you'll get in big trouble. Yeah. But in the league, we might want to restrain them fists. Now, if somebody puts their hands on you, then you have every right to do what you gotta do. But just don't be out there knocking people out left and right. But it was you get away with it a little bit more in college than you do in the league, though. I will say that.
Well, not to mention, you got all the other players probably somewhere within a close proximity of where you are. And that's the way it was. We used to go out to the bar.
Offensive lines.
Oh, yeah.
They go together.
Yeah.
It's usually no less than 3. Rarely.
We used to do that at the bars. All the wrestlers would go out. We would drink, after the shows were done. And we would get people every so often be like, oh, so you're a wrestler, huh? So you do that fake stuff, huh? And we're just kind of like, And there was this one time that the guy I described, it reminded me of a guy that, the story is with. He was about probably 50 years old, heavier set guy. And we had a 300-pound Samoan that wrestled with us. And he was sitting there giving him a hard time. And the guy was so drunk. We're just sitting there. And next thing we know, the guy just falls off of his bar stool and just smacks his head on the ground. And we're just all like, ah! And we start counting. We're like, 1, 2. And like the guy sitting there, he's watching like he's slipping on the bar, and he gets up at 9. And we're like, 9. Right as he gets up at 9, he just falls back down. We're like, 10. He didn't get up. And like the whole bar is going crazy.
That's hilarious. At 50, though, come on, man. Once you get past 42, it's kind of like, tone it down, bro.
Yeah.
R.I.P. that guy.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still surprised he saw the 350 pounds more, and I got to give him some respect for that. He's got balls, man.
Have you ever sat there and thought to yourself, because you said you played basketball when you were younger, have you ever sat there and thought to yourself, what would have happened if I would have taken the route to try to make it into the NBA or, something like that? Have you ever sat there and thought about it? Because I played baseball when I was younger, and I sat there and think all the time, I'm like, well, what would have happened if I would have pursued that over pursuing a career in professional wrestling, which, set up for this podcast and, all kinds of other great things that I got to be involved with.
Right. Yeah, it crossed my mind sometimes. I mean, it does, but I'm like, in the NFL, I'm a big dude at 6'4", 6'5". In the NBA, I'm a point guard, shooting guard, rarely a shooting guard height. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Paul is almost up there when he's like, 6'3", something like that. So it's like, if I'd have lost the weight, maybe I probably would have made it happen. I mean, both of my parents played basketball, so no, I mean, it would have been in there somewhere, but I went more wide than vertical. So it just kind of just played out that way. But it definitely crosses your mind, man. I mean, especially I still watch basketball now, basketball and football. And, I still play basketball too. Obviously, I'm going to go hoop this summer. But that definitely never goes away. I still enjoy a good dunk or two for what my back and O-line needs would allow me to do.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like with football now, the NFL, like you're still a relatively young guy. I feel that
31.
a lot of NFL players, they can sit there and make their money, do what they need to do, and then retire early, which is great. But of course, your body's so beat up by then. Like, me, I'm 35, and I started training to be a wrestler when I was 13. So I'm so beaten up, like my ankles, back, knees, whatever, just shot to shit. But it's great because you guys can go out, do what you need to do, and then you're 35 years old, and you're like, hey, all right, whatever, I'm done. Time to have a family and experience life. And
if you feel like it, I mean, shit.
You have to have several families.
I mean, look at
you better keep playing if you have several families.
And that is true. He just said, look at Brady.
Yeah, like Brady's like 41, and he's
also a quarterback. So
Well,
I'm not going to say too much about Tom Brady getting hit and whining and shit. I'm not going to do that. So he didn't get hit that much, I think
he gets the ball out quick too.
Offensive line, you're constantly hitting something,
every play,
constant. Every down you're hitting somebody.
Now, when you guys were practicing, you guys would sit there and you had those little orange dummies that you guys would run into. Have you ever sat there and just visualized somebody you hated? One of those. Have you ever seen dummies get broken? Because I sit there and I'm like, you have like 5 300-pound men running into those dummies all the time. They have to break. There's got to be one time where someone hits one of those things and they go down and they just tumble along with it. Have you ever seen one almost get broken?
I saw it. It wasn't offensive lineman though. It actually was a defensive lineman. It was Chandler Jones. My last go round with the Cardinals. Like he did that in practice, man. I don't know what he was mad about that day, but he went through that damn dummy and we never saw it again. Saw a couple screws flying all over the place, man. But you kind of got like those in the middle of training camp around like day 15. Yeah, you kind of start picturing some faces on those bags that piss you off a little bit because you need that little bit of extra juice. Your body's hurt, you're sore, you mad at the coach, you mad at the sun, you mad at your pads, all that shit. Like, man, dog. Yeah. It's and then wait, this is gonna be hilarious. When I was younger, obviously, because I was fat, I used to eat like 2 Big Macs when I was like 10 years old. When I first started playing football, my uncle and my dad. Like, no, I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this at 10, 11 years old. But no, my dad and my uncle would always, when I started playing football, they would always mess me and be like, that dude line up across from you, he the one that stole your fries when they at McDonald's. Go get it. I was like, man, that's how you know you're fat. It's like, picture somebody that stole your food.
Man, that's nothing. I heard a story that there was a WWE guy named Umaga, and I heard he used to sit there and eat mayonnaise sandwiches. He had one of those big jars of mayonnaise, and he would sit there and he would just take the mayonnaise out and he would put it on there and he would just eat them. And it's like, dude, like that. There's no way. Like I feel the vomit right here. Just
it's making my stomach hurt.
I don't know. It kind of sounds pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
Right about now. So.
I'm kind of thinking like maybe I'll go make a mayonnaise sandwich after this.
You got at least toast the bread, man. Put some butter on it or something. God, dog, man. Jesus,
I mean, all I have is raisin cinnamon bread. You think that'll be good?
No, I don't.
Oh, look, banana bread with mayonnaise.
I used to eat peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches as a kid. It's pretty good.
Dude, no.
It's about to be a hangover hour, and I'm about to throw up on this camera.
My wife, her cousin, eats peanut butter on cheese. He sits there and takes a slice of cheese and he puts peanut butter on it and he eats it. And I'm like, what world are you from? What? Hello, Satan. Nice.
He's definitely with ISIS.
And there was a time I saw something online and pretty much someone had made a cake and they played a prank on someone. And instead of using frosting on the cake, they did it with mayonnaise. It was like cake batter and all that, and it was mayonnaise, and it was a layered cake, like a devil's food cake, but with mayonnaise. And I was just kind of like, could you imagine someone just goes, "Hey, happy birthday, Ted," and then all of a sudden Ted cuts into the cake,
Bro,
and next, like Vinston's like, "Yeah, I can't, I can't anymore."
I can't, bro. I can't. Yo,
I mean, I would probably only try one slice of that.
I wouldn't even try a corner. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it'd be more like a whole like.
Now, they would have to tell me it's like a special kind of frosting. You can't tell me it's mayonnaise, so I'm not gonna eat it. You gotta trick me into eating that.
I'm pretty sure if he's like, "This is mayonnaise," I'm like, one slice then. Okay,
Is it the kind of thing that you eat it because you're afraid to, like, you don't know that they're playing a prank on you, or just kind of like, Aunt Ethel just doesn't know what she kind of like the grandmother from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, you think she did it because she has dementia? There's apparently in Japan there's a restaurant called I don't know what it is, but it translates to your order will be wrong. And all they do is hire grandmothers with dementia as their wait staff. And it doesn't matter what you order, they will bring you the wrong thing. And in Japan, it's customary for them to be like, "Oh, thank you very much." And they just eat this wrong thing. Yeah.
They got it. How do they stay in business? Don't they piss a lot of people off like that?
Well, because apparently
this ain't what I wanted to eat. I don't know what this is.
Who's going to leave a bad Yelp review for the place that only hires dementia-riddled grandmothers? What sort of monster are you? Even the name itself says you were going to get the wrong order. You can't be like, their name was extremely right.
I was bamboozled.
They get a bad Yelp review because they brought them the right order. Could you imagine that? Like, God damn it, I didn't want this hamburger.
This is exactly what I ordered.
What the hell is this?
I wanted a surprise.
This is a mayonnaise chocolate cake.
Yo.
Vincent, is there any team with the NFL that you thought you had? What would you say was your favorite team that you were a part of in your career?
It had to be the Broncos. Broncos are definitely number one. Number two would probably be Arizona, and number three would be Miami. But definitely the Broncos because, they obviously put my foot in the door for one. And just the people there and the culture there was just one of a kind, man. And just the experience that I had there, I couldn't get it again at any other team. Like, just because they brought me in, and so much love from everybody when I got in the locker room and on the staff and everything, and then the work ethic was universal across the board with everybody, and just being there with so many great players. Like, coming on the team, they had Peyton and Champ Bailey and Willis McGahee and Bond and a whole gang of other guys. The line, Brian Clady, Orlando Franklin, Luis Vasquez, like. It was just a whole assortment of just a pool of knowledge to just learn from. You got John Elway as a GM, so it's just like, and John Fox was head coach. So just having that huge wealth of knowledge around you and experience, and that so many high caliber players, it just was the environment to just breed you to be great.
Now, I've always wondered with playing in Denver, because I went out to Breckenridge snowboarding for like a weekend. And the altitude kicked my ass.
Oh, man. Yeah, that first month
I did not stop farting the entire – like, we landed and a fart started, and 3 days later, when we got back to normal altitude, I stopped farting. And I was like – I felt like I was constantly deflating the entire time I was there.
No, I love the mountains, man. The altitude, it took me like a month maybe to get used to it, right? Like, to really, really get used to it, I could do full sprints without getting gas at all. When I first did the first 2 weeks, it felt like I had a sumo on my chest the whole time, every single practice. But after a while, you just kind of fall in love with it, man. That was the best shape I feel like I had ever been in.
Because then when you come back here, you can drink like a horse. Like, you never get tired.
Nothing phases you.
Yeah.
Nothing phases you anymore.
I just imagine Tommy Sinbazo like a leaking balloon now. Just
I walk in.
That's exactly how I feel. You feel rejuvenated. You come back to the regular levels, but you like,
I even bought.
This is what Superman felt like when he was in the sun.
I bought it was a hairspray can that was full of oxygen, and it had like a mouthpiece on it. And one time I tried to cut the wrong way through a trail in the woods, and I fell into like deep snow, and I had to drag myself back out to the trail, and I'm like, and I get this tank out, and I'm like, and people on the ski lift were like, "Fucking old man," just screaming at me.
Just jetting by you.
I was trying to breathe. And then you got so drunk so quick too.
Yeah.
We had a buddy that already had a drinking problem, but 3 beers in, and he pissed on the rental couch.
There he was God.
Oh,
I am God.
He got thrown out of 2 bars.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, you get there so fast up there in that altitude, man, whether it's liquor, cannabis, or whatever, it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
But you love
Speaking
it.
of cannabis, let's get into that.
Actually, what we're going to do real quick, we're going to go into our commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to get into the cannabis stuff, which is going to be really fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you listening at home, we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break, get a word from some of our sponsors, play a song or two, and we will be right back with Vinston Painter from the NFL. For those of you watching live on Facebook, we're going to keep on rolling along. I need to run upstairs and grab more beer because this beer is great, and we're down to a little bit of it. So I'll be right back in 1 second.
I'll be right back.
Cool. Oh, man. This is hilarious.
Yeah, Tommy's a fun that we have him come in periodically from time to time. He's hilarious.
Yeah. That's what's up. How long y'all been at this now, man? God, kind of like, because we're, another reason why I want to do this, too, because I'm, like, trying to catch up on learning more about podcast and stuff, because we're trying to put something together for the shop. And obviously, I'm going to do something else along the side. But, like, how long you guys been into this?
Shit. Probably about 6 months, a little bit over 6 months now. We started back, when did we start? Back in like June, right?
June.
Yeah, we started back in June.
That's what's up.
Podcast. Of course, with Ray being in the pro wrestling and stuff like that, he was initially the one that, kicked off this idea. It was like, hey, with this COVID, all this COVID shit going on, it'd be a great time to start a podcast. And I think a lot of people have done that too.
Where's Tommy? Tommy go shit?
Yeah, one of my relatives started one. Definitely. This is cool, man. So my cousin started one, just kind of asking people about different topics, current events, and all that other good stuff. That's what's up, man. I was watching one of you guys' other podcast. You had the dude from Jason on there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's cool too.
And for those of you watching at home, once Tommy's back into it, we're going to go ahead and get right back into it. All right, Tom, man, you ready to go?
I'm ready. I just had to check on the dogs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, this is Ray. I'm sitting here with Matt. We're joined by our special guest co-host, Tommy Sinbazo, and we're here with our special guest, former NFL star Vinston Painter. Real quick, what we're going to do is we're going to get into our weekly beer of the week. And for the first time during a live broadcast, I had to run up and grab more of this because we're just blowing through it. You want to say what it is?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. So our beer of the week is Troog's Dreamweaver Wheat Beer. And this reminds me of one of my favorite beers, which was Bud Light Wheat. And we've just been sucking these down.
Yeah,
that's probably not a good thing for us to say because sometimes it just happens. You just suck things down, and
yeah, it's got like a spiciness to it. Like it's pretty cool, man. Like I was like, wow.
So for those of you watching at home, if you haven't had Troog's Dreamweaver, kind of when I hear Dreamweaver, I think of the song Dream. They have a song Dream.
Yeah. The beginning of that is real trippy. Like
that's what I think. When I think of Dreamweaver, I think of fucking trippy. Speaking of trippy, check on your dog, or is it? But the shrooms are kicking in.
All right, hold on. I'll be right back. Hold on.
So while Tommy's going, we're going to read off. Be like the dream begins with open top fermentation at high, crossing a foamy, rocky yeast. Head crests the side of fermenter, releasing notes of black pepper and spicy clove, unfiltered and cloudy with yeast. It's slightly tart and downright refreshing. Okay, at the point when it said the head crests the sides of the fermenter, I was like, what kind of porn is this turning into?
Okay. Like, slower. Tell me slower about
sideways.
I am the brewmaster.
And then Matt's favorite part, our new shot of the month, which we reviewed last week, which we were going to do, which is A-Team Hand Grenade Vodka, which is French. I still haven't found shit on this online, so I don't know if this is just Windex in a bottle, and that's
Wait, it's called A-Team Hand Grenade Vodka, and it's French.
What in the world?
And you can buy a package of this, and it comes with a metal bullet case. It has like a machine gun with the vodka in it, but then it has all the hand grenades in it too. It's like a tactical box for like $250. That's kind of awesome. Like,
it's pretty cool.
That sounds like something you would buy on Bourbon Street, bro.
Yeah,
that is awfully redneck of you.
Yeah.
Hey, if you save that bottle, I'll build that into a pipe, and Vincent can sell it at his dispensary.
100%. It can be converted.
There we go. And Vinston, you probably saw from previous episodes, but this 100% isn't a gimmick. We actually drink on this show.
Yes.
So if we ever get together in person, like Tommy knows. Tommy, that poor guy had to stop.
I'm not a drinker. I don't drink.
Okay.
I felt bad.
No, I have diabetes. I can't do the show. But here, I'll tell you. Look,
this is what you drink.
Now I feel like an asshole.
Hold on. No. This is what I'm going to do. In this, I have made a mushroom tea with 5 grams of mushrooms. And 10 milligrams THC. Because my fiance's out of town for the night, so I usually just trip on mushrooms and jerk off to weird stuff.
All right. So with that, let's go ahead and take this shot. Cheers to that.
Cheers, 100%.
God.
Oh, man.
God damn, I make a good tea. God, that is good.
Our friend Mike Walters, he commented, he said, Vinston has the voice for a podcast. He would do well if he had his own podcast. And I agree with that.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I think he actually mentioned that when Tommy went to go check on his fucking dog that doesn't exist.
I have 2 dogs.
The ghost dog.
They're both dead. I can only see them.
His mushroom elixir. Now that we're on the mushroom elixir, we're going to get into, well, before we go into that, I'm going to get off track and we're going to forget about them. We need to get into our games. So we're going to get into the Oh Humanity segment.
What are we going to talk about? His dispensary.
Oh, we will. Chill.
I don't know a lot about football. I know a lot about weed.
Tommy just signs off. He's just like, I'm done.
He's ready.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to do 5-second rule, which nobody's been able to touch Tommy in this. The last couple of
because you keep giving me the topics like an hour ahead of time. I already
have time to think about it.
You don't know this time.
So
I don't know this one.
We're going to start off with Vinston, and if Vinston can't do it, it'll go to Tommy, then it'll come to me, then it'll go to Matt. If someone says an answer, you can't duplicate it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use this little timer right here, and it's going to be 5 seconds from the time the balls get to the top to the bottom. I know that
that sounded awful.
So what we're going to do is
how much did you drink?
We're going to name 3 deceased actors starting now.
Chadwick Boseman, Richard Pryor.
Time. So the Black Panther and Richard Pryor are out. Yeah. Tommy, it goes to you starting now.
John Candy, John Belushi, and let's go with Christopher Walken.
What's his name?
All right, so it's going to come to me. And starting now, Burt Reynolds. Alex Trebek is not an actor. Why am I thinking Alex Trebek?
He's on TV.
Right. All right, Matt, it's going to go to you. And we don't get it. We move on. It's just, this is a failed round. All right. So, Matt, 3 deceased actors. You cannot repeat any of the answers starting now.
Right. Sean Connery, Robin Williams, and fuck.
No, Fox not dead.
Shit.
All right. So this week there is no winner. So 3 deceased actors. Of course, we said many names, but no one could actually get it.
I thought I had it. I couldn't think of a third fucking person.
And I was thinking of Sean Connery. I just couldn't get it out.
That's what I was thinking of. I was trying to think of.
We're going to move on to our game, Incoherent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up a card that is pretty much in drunkenese. Basically, the way you would say this word or term in drunkenese, and you need to try to figure out what it says. Now, where's that? Here's the little timer right here. You have a minute to figure it out, and if you need to, I have 2 hints on the back. So just let me know, and I can give you one of the 2 hints. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the timer and then hold the card up. What do you think this says?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, hormone dumb milk.
Now, keep in mind, it's called incoherent. So listen to what you're saying as you're saying it. Say it fast and listen to what you're saying.
Hormone the milk. Something the milk. Hormone the milk. Hormone the milk. Hormone the milk. I'm fucking lost. Oh my God.
Would you like a hint?
Hormone the milk. Yes, please.
A nutty
Lifeline.
drink.
A what?
A nutty drink.
A nutty drink.
Yeah.
Hormone the milk. Almond milk.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's what it was. Almond milk. All right.
That was
So,
a pretty
yeah,
good hint.
yeah,
The hint's kind of
It
good.
was.
And then after that, if you don't get it past that, it says milk for hipsters and lactose intolerance.
I think lactose would have gave it away.
Yeah. And then what we're going to do is we cannot do Ode to Humanity without Cards Against Humanity. So, Vinston, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off a face card, and I'm going to give you 4 choices. Whichever one you think is the best that describes the answer on the card. The face card says, "What left a stain on my couch?" Your selections are The Man in the Basement.
In there.
A Little Boy with Big Dreams and Potatoes for Hands. Oil. Or a 55-gallon drum of lube.
Why do you have a 55-gallon drum of lube?
I get my lube at Costco.
You
I'm
don't.
going to say The Man in the Basement, 100%.
I would. My choice for this would be The Little Boy with Big Dreams and Potatoes for Hands. Because, I mean, if he has potatoes for hands, if he's just kind of, if he decides he wants to go into nether realm and just kind of get it off, like he's peeling his potatoes as he's doing it.
Yeah, he's getting a
thinking
sponge
more
job.
so the dude in the basement is coming up and he's down there sweating, and when he lays on the couch, it's going to be a stain.
The basement. It's always
Yeah.
the fucking dude in the basement.
It's always the dude in the
Pay
basement.
goddamn rent.
Now, Tommy,
Never know what he's doing.
Ode to Humanity. So, Tommy, I'm going to let you go ahead
Mhm.
and go into it and ask Vinston about his side project that he has outside of the NFL.
You can.
Yeah, I heard you're the Willy Wonka of weed.
That's definitely burner. I'm just the guy trying to get in the game.
Now, so where's your what's your dispensary called, and where's it at?
It's Chesapeake Apothacary down here in Southern Maryland and White Plains between Waldorf and La Plata.
You want to know why he said that I could bring it up? Ray can't pronounce the name of your shop.
I cannot say apothecary.
Chesapeake.
You just said it. Successfully.
Beforehand, I couldn't say it to save my life. And of course, I've been drinking, and there it is, apothecary. And I'm like, wait a minute. Beforehand, I was like,
See?
I'm like, I know it has a
He was
pot.
like, today, Junior.
Don't worry, we have some people that's come by there that still mess up the name, like the apothecary, the apothecary. Yeah, it's like
Weed man.
So how long has it been open?
since 2015.
Nice. And now this is the thing now, because I got my medical card, which I have a buddy who just turned 20, and he before then I would get him medication, right? But then he got his own card, and before then he would always get edibles, right? Then he got his card 3 months ago. When 3 months ago he started waking up vomiting every morning. He started with abdominal cramps and everything. He stopped coming into work. He had to work from home. The doctor didn't know what it is. Apparently, it's this thing that a certain amount of people get where it's this cannabis allergy that people develop if they smoke a lot of weed. Because he went from eating edibles to just apparently Snoop Dogg overnight and just smoking as much weed as he possibly can to the point where his body's like, no more. We can't.
I've heard of that happening. It's not happening to me yet, thank God. Yeah. Like somehow, some way, some people do. Like I've heard a couple people that have developed an allergy to maybe specific strains. Like they can't smoke this strain or they can't smoke sativas because it sets off some kind of weird like reaction or whatever. But I mean, it rarely happens, but I have heard of that happening before.
Now, some of my favorite shops that I go to, my favorite shop, I'm not even going to plug it because this is all about you, but I like that they're loyalty specials. Do you have a loyalty special, or what's 100%. Your first time customer deal? What's the first time customer?
First time shopping in the shop, you get 10% off, and then for the rewards program, you get a point for every dollar spent.
Nice.
So if you spend $100, you get 100 points. It used to be like a 30-point system, I believe. We changed it a year ago. Yeah, so before that, it used to be like 30 points a visit or something like that. But then we changed it to a point per dollar spent. And people have been loving it. It's been successful. And we have some pretty good rewards. You go from 10%, a dollar, half gram pre-roll, all the way up to a gram of concentrate for a penny, all the way up to a half ounce to an ounce for a penny, depending on how many points. Yeah.
That is great. Yeah, but the only thing, they just do a straight thing wherever you get like 800 points, you get like $80 off or whatever. But every now and then, 175 points I can trade in for a battery for a vape. That's about it. But I like your system's way better.
Yeah, now, the baseline is 300 points. The baseline is 300 points, and that's like the minimum price. And then after that, it just takes off, man.
Yeah, I mean, especially now with everybody getting that stimulus check. They're just going to be coming in, spending $600.
I mean, that's what. See, the crazy thing is,
points tonight.
100%. That is exactly how it's going. No, but seriously though, we were surprised because when the whole pandemic and everything started, and everything started closing down, we thought that it would, start slowing down as people losing jobs and potentially, run out of money or whatever. But it had, it had the complete opposite effect. It took off.
Well, because it's weird. It's federally illegal, but it's essential. It was kept on because it's essential business.
We count as a medical establishment. So we stayed open as an essential business, and we still had plenty of traffic, more so than before. We went to curbside, not allowing anybody inside because we were worried about with the traffic that we get. With the amount of people that we have come every day, it would have been difficult trying to keep everyone 6 feet apart, especially on busy days like Friday and Saturday. So we just went to strictly curbside and have people place their orders online and call it in, and it's been going great.
Plus, nobody wanted to raw dog 2020. You mean you need something?
I don't think we had a choice. We did not expect this.
I need something. Give me weed. I'll drink 5 grams of mushrooms. I don't care. I can't deal with this.
Yeah, and we got through it somehow, man. We had to.
And with dispensaries, you have all kinds of cool names. What do you think your favorite name is out of some of the products that you have in there?
She Love. Poochie Love is definitely number one. That was hilarious the first day that came in. We had another one that, because we was in Maryland, I saw it, and Darius Geist, and we had one in there. It's called, they say it's Juice, but it's spelled like his last name. I was like, man, this dude got his own strain of weed already, man. I'm like, he's just got in the league. Like, yo. But I say, the favorite name though, Scooby Snacks. That's one strain that I bought just because of the name. I didn't care if it was trash or whatever. I smoked that just because of the name.
My hope is that someone does the Scooby Snacks and then just does the Scooby-Doo laugh in the background.
Like, what
I did that. I'm not gonna lie. I did it. I did it.
Like you hit it and you're like,
roll.
I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you kids. You stupid dog.
This is
like, Dad, what are you talking about? Dad, stop pulling on my face.
Well, now that I got this medical card, my favorite, and I'm a bit of a tinkerer, my favorite thing to do is I'll buy wax and I'll make my own vape juice out of the wax. And then I'll fill Juul pods with it.
Hey, listen, buddy.
And then I'll leave the Juul pods by middle schools. It's
by middle school?
Tommy.
Yeah. Bro.
No, we're live right now. The world is on to you, Tommy Sinbazo.
Nobody's listening.
I didn't hear nothing.
No, I don't do that. High schools. I meant high school.
Right
now,
me,
I didn't hear a thing.
Is taking an image of Tommy Sinbazo so he can put it up in his shop. Do not let this man in. And it's just an image of Tommy just
like, what's his name? Just don't worry about his name. Just know his face.
Look. Yeah. People were like, why do you got a picture of Dr. Robotnik on your wall?
Just remember the stash. Just remember the stash. Right. It is an epic stash.
Thank you. I grew it myself.
And when we were
it's all pubic hair I had moved up.
Holy shit. And there you go.
Sweating. It smells, I tell you.
Yeah, that drink's kicking
under my nose.
When we were talking before the actual podcast, we brought up you were supposed to sign for the CFL with the Tiger Cats. However, you went off and did this venture. Do you think that this venture benefited you a lot more than if you would have signed for the CFL?
It's hard to say. I mean, because it's it's give and take to both. I mean, this right here, football is a grind. It's almost like being a mercenary. When you got a job, you got a job. When you get cut, you're on call pretty much. You're just training and working out. There's no income, and you're just kind of waiting to see what happens. And this right here kind of was something I was interested in. Obviously, after my first year in Denver, I was there when they were recreational, and it was always something I kind of wanted to get into when I finished my career. Just kind of, it was a different field, and it was something new and exciting. But when it came time for me to go to the CFL, I signed a contract. I did the mini camp, and I was just going back and forth in my brain on what I wanted to do next and whatnot. And in the meantime, while I was training, I was already up here learning the business and working and getting to everybody's shop. And I got close to me ready to go to training camp, and I was talking to my mom and the rest of my family and everybody. And I still wanted to play ball, but I kind of was itching for that sense of stability, like just kind of I know this is where I'm going to be, and this is something new and exciting. And I kind of just want to take a leap of faith. And it's been very beneficial. Can I say it's been more beneficial than Canada? I don't know. Maybe I went to Canada, go back to league. And it's kind of still one of those things that's up in the air because there's still an opportunity for me in Canada. I'm just, I'm here now and I'm there. I don't like starting anything and not finishing it, so that's the only thing I'm fighting with.
You were going to sign with the Tiger Cats.
Facts.
The Tiger Cats. I said something to Matt, before. I was like, Tiger Cats. I'm like, did they really have to do Tiger-Cats? I was like, because we know tigers are cats. Like,
Indeed.
It's like Tiger Cats. Yeah.
I guess.
I scratched my head a little bit. It was cool.
I'm not real sciencey when it comes to that.
What's your favorite kind of tiger? Mine's a tiger cat.
Tiger cat. Is that a Bengal tiger? Or
I don't want to get into details. It's tiger cat.
Tiger cat.
Yeah, tiger.
The tiger cat.
Yeah.
Did your uniforms have stripes and spots? And
it was a tiger. It was a regular tiger. It was a regular tiger.
It's a regular tiger.
A tiger right there. It was a tiger right there. It was nothing different. It was a tiger. I mean, the facilities and everything were way cooler than the name presents. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it is Canada.
Cool. Yeah,
I mean, they were probably like,
I took a trip up there. I took a visit to the team, and it was cool. The stadium was dope. The team was cool. Coaches and everything was cool. And I don't know. I could see myself there, but I don't know. I just needed a break from ball for a little bit and kind of try something new. You never know, man. I might give them a call back and say, hey, I got that itch again.
They were like, we heard your podcast.
No, we're not.
That guy Tommy Sinbazo, if he would have not have been on there, and then we hey, but we're sorry.
Oh no, man, we're sponsored by Juul. We can't.
But it wasn't me.
We don't want him in any of our stadiums, eh?
I promise you, he won't bring his drink.
I'm almost done.
We just got a comment from our mutual friend Bubba Almany. He was a big Vince. Now, shout out to Bubba Almany.
My man Bubba.
Big guy, celebrity bodyguard. You are going to be doing a celebrity basketball
yes, sir.
With Bubba this year. So you want to go into a little bit? It was supposed to happen, 2020, and I think it got bumped.
Yeah, and it got bumped back because of COVID.
So you want to go a little bit into that?
So me and Bubba got to rapping about a year or so ago, and because I was just starting out with the dispensary, and I was thinking about doing some other things as far as security. Me and my guy, in the business with Seth, we were kind of throwing ideas back and forth off each other, and he kind of pitched the security idea to me. And me and Bubba got in contact. First, he reached out to me, trying to, if you go on vacation, you need services, let me know. And I was like, well, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm 300-something pounds. I think I'm all right, but I do have some questions for you. So me and him got to rapping, and I asked him about his private security thing, and it kind of took off from there. We built a pretty good friendship relationship, and when he asked me about the opportunity to be in the basketball game, it was hands down, obviously for a good cause against bullying and whatnot, and just that alone was enough. But obviously, I want to be a part of that, and Bubba's a great dude, great character. I support him. And doing big things.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, man, he's an awesome guy, and I'm looking forward to the game. I haven't played in the celebrity game since my boy Cam's game a while ago. I still hoop, but I haven't played in the celebrity game in a while. I'm looking forward to it, man, seeing the kids and everything, and, seeing Bubba and everybody, and hopefully see you guys there. And,
hopefully we're trying to get out there to
yeah.
Bubba, so great. Every episode we have, Bubba comes in, comments, God bless, all that, and Bubba's such a nice guy.
Man.
But
Awesome
I try to get it out of him so badly. I'm like, Bubba, come on, tell me. Have you ever broken anybody's arm? Come on, man. Come on, like I want to see the Bubba that tears a man's face off.
Yeah.
Like that's the Bubba that I want to see. Look, you back away from Vinston right now. Look, put the tiger cat down. You're not taking this from its dispensary. Put it down, and I'm gonna rip your face off.
You don't have success in security if you don't have some dog in you. I'm a full believer in that. I'm pretty sure he had to go upside somebody's head before.
I believe he's like all about God bless and everything as he snaps your neck and lays you.
Exactly. Like
as he's choking you out, he's like, "It's okay.
You brought this on yourself."
He pets your head. God bless.
Yeah, he just kisses the top of your head.
You know what I'm saying?
And then he snaps your neck.
Soul leaving your body.
Tell Jesus I said hello.
And,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
starting to come close on time. Where can everybody find you and find your dispensary and all that great stuff?
We are located in White Plains, between La Plata and Waldorf, Maryland, 4781 Crane Highway, right on the side of 301. We're open Monday through Sunday. We don't close, man. We're here to help everybody medicate, ease their pain.
Not a fucking hustle, man.
Man, we love it, man.
How close are you to Martini's?
Martini's?
Yeah, that's in White Plains off.
Martini's, is that still open?
I did a show there a couple months ago. Might be.
Now Tommy Sinbazo.
You shut that place down, literally.
Wasn't well attended.
A couple months ago,
Tommy Curtin called that place.
You did it pretty big, bro. I don't think they're there no more now.
That's a good decision now.
Like, we don't want mushroom juice coming back here anymore.
We're a respectable establishment next to this sex toy shop.
They are still there. Yeah, they're still there. I had to think about it for a second, but yeah, they're still there. I haven't been over there.
Oh, when I brought up the sex toy shop, you were like, "Oh, Martini's." Okay.
Yeah, I know that place.
I know that place.
Oh, yeah, Martini's.
It's probably pretty bad, and that's what made me remember that. That is awful.
Is it the kind of thing? Does the sex toy place shop come into your dispensary and they're like, "Hey, look, here's what'll happen.
It goes.
We'll give you some sex toys. You give us some of your stuff."
Bro.
And it's just like, no, man.
I haven't had that offer yet.
It's location.
You know what I'm
Some guy's dragging in a sex doll.
Like 5 minutes away from there. We're like 5 minutes away from there, though. Seriously. Okay. I'm pretty sure some of them have come in. They just haven't said anything.
So you have to put a mask on that sex doll.
And Bubba's dying right now. He's doing the laughing, the crying live right now. And what we're gonna do is we gotta let Vinston go. Everybody, thank you for joining us on Facebook Live. Everybody, when this airs on Spotify and wherever you listen to your podcast, thank you for listening in. This is Ray, Matt, Tommy, and Vinston. This is the Happy Hour Podcast. Thank you for joining us live. Vinston and Tommy, if you can hang out for a few seconds afterwards, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for the Happy Hour Podcast. We will see you guys next week with our very special guest, Doug Bradley, a.k.a. Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Oh, wow.
We'll be live right here on Facebook Live next Saturday with Doug Bradley, a.k.a. Pinhead. Details will come out later on this week when you can tune in to see Doug Bradley from Pinhead. For those of you listening live, that will be next week.
Next week, you drunk bastard.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in. This is the Happy Hour Podcast. See you later.